You are listening to Eyes Wide Shut, a poish tale in which sleep will not be shunned. A bedtime story written by George Louis Avery and voiced by Cornelius. Courtesy of 11 Labs. Let us begin. Sleep, that gentle narcosis what re-energizes the body and rejuvenates the mind. Who requires it? Certainly not I, for I was a rare soul that did not sleep. Nevertheless, sleep pursued me with its coy eyes, spying from out of the dark confines of my study, or from the stark maw of an alley, as I crossed the bustling boulevard en route to some urgent venture. It loitered in the shadows, beneath drooping lamp-posts along the avenues, like a coquette fluttering painted lashes, vying for my attentions. But I would not acknowledge her. With disfavor I averted my eyes, and to discourage her more I burned the candle at both ends, and in the interim it paid dividends, as I had become a self-made man, and soon I was to marry into a family of prominence, whereby my station in life would be secured. But my stalker would not be dismissed, for I had scorned her openly, and her fragile ego was bruised. Her untiring harassment was a heavy toll on my health. As with my approaching nuptials, I began to experience migraines, what became more intense with each passing hour, so that soon I could not abide the illumination of day. Not even darkened sunglasses offered me relief. My blood-rimmed eyes had become allergic to even filtered particulates of daylight, so that I was in constant torment. I sought remedies at great expense, but treatments failed, and so, out of desperation, I shut myself away. I became a recluse, with heavy curtains drawn on the windows of my apartment. I no longer ventured outside. I had my meals delivered. Calls from my betrothed were dismissed. Her knocks at my door went unanswered, and soon they came no more. But that seemed a small price to pay, for my migraines were subsiding. I had found a remedy, it seemed, albeit temporary. At long last I could sit behind my armored stile with an agreeable smile, listening to the hustle and the bustle of normalcy outside of my dark fortress, pedestrians passing, voices chirruping like crickets in a nearby field, and it soon occurred to me, mine was no mishap of fate. I had been singled out by sleep. She would be my courtier, and she, whose selfless piety eclipses all others, would not be denied me over time. As with ghostly fingers, she massaged my temples, bringing me to the brink of rapture. How that one gained entry into my room was, and is, a mystery. But more and more I was become enamored by the clemency of her touch, so much so that I begrudged nothing of what she had taken away from me to win my favor. I was truly convinced I had wronged her more. I indulged her whims, and the while we loitered, it seemed that time had ceased to exist. And so assured I was of absolution, I verbally pledged to her my troth, and we two embraced. It was at this moment a blow was struck outside the door to my apartment, what made the shy maid slip away, and with her abrupt departure I felt a wicked pang rend my cavernous core. Theirs was a most untimely interruption, but the knock outside my door was unlike any other. It was more of a dull thump, as if some free weight had fallen against the timbers. Listen, for there it was striking again, thump, and again, thump. Go away, I instructed harshly, although in vain, for the assault on my door continued. Thump, thump, thump. With no regard to my loud objections, annoyed by the industry of my visitor, I essayed to rise and dismiss him, only to discover I could not. Sleep's fetters held me firmly ensconced. I fumbled in the darkness for the door, but it was not where it should have been. Inching around in the cramped quarters, I was met by a corner, and then another, and another, and another. It took me some moments to grasp. I was not in my apartment at all, but shut inside of a rectangular box. Now panicked, I began to pound, and then claw at the coarse timbers, even as unforgiving splinters tore loose my nails, my busy fingers raw and bleeding, and my nose incensed by the sweet sickness of pine. Meanwhile, from above wafted the faint whistling of an industrious gravedigger, and with each shovel's payload, loosened sand trickled down through the cracks, stinging my swollen eyes, while the taste of raw earth wetted my tongue and my throat. It so dry that I was strangling on the coarse silicates of my own frenzied screams, frozen in a perpetuum of inescapable wakefulness. Woe is me, for with laced lips sleep had drugged me, and missing the alarm I had awakened to discover that overzealous inheritors had inhumed me prematurely. And too, it would seem my succubus has forsaken me. Forevermore. The end. You have been listening to Eyes Wide Shut, a poish tale in which sleep will not be shunned. A short story written by George Louis Avery. If you have enjoyed listening to this calamitous tale, then check out the author's other videos and his website at averyhillarts.com, where you will discover a plethora of his unconventional prose. And two, do consider giving this video a thumbs up, as your acknowledgement alone will be rich payment to a pious writer. Copyright 2025 by George Louis Avery. All rights reserved.